Hi, I'm Rebecca, and welcome to my podcast, Smashing Through with Rebecca Adams. I am so excited you're here on this episode. Topics include life, business, mindset, full of kick ass content and high energy. Enjoy the podcast, and remember, you too can smash through and keep going always. In today's episode, I'm talking about tricky conversations that you may need to have. Maybe it's with a family member or, a friend or something like that. So we all have conversations or are leading up to tricky conversations that we feel icky about, right? That we feel, ugh, the energy's low, you don't want to do it, but you have to, whether it be to ask your boss for a pay rise maybe, or a tricky conversation, even with yourself, about raising your prices in your business. Okay, so we are going to address all of it. So, the one thing I want you to do is really know that you can do it. You've got the power to do it, and it's just thoughts. It's just a thought that you are projecting out there of what could go wrong, instead of focusing on everything that could go right and being mindful and respectful as you prep for the conversation that you're going to have, okay? And really, really identifying the ego, your ego, that may step in so that they may say something to you that actually triggers you, okay? And something that triggers you is something that you've not healed from. But I want you to be silent in that moment and tap into going, okay, and identify your thought process in that moment instead of reacting and allowing the ego to take over. So that, yeah, okay, you got to stand up for yourself and be a voice. Obviously, I'm a big advocate for that. But sometimes you just need to sit there and let it play out a little bit. And having a tricky conversation that needs to be had, it's all about the wording, it's all about the conversation, it's all about the words. Okay, so it is all about knowing that you can control the situation and the conversation when you have great communication skills, when you can stay focused on the end game of what you want to happen, and that you are standing in the power that you have in order to get the pay rise that you're after, or to set the boundaries and stand by the boundaries that you are setting for yourself in a relationship, whether it be a love relationship, a friendship, business partnership relationship, whether it be you're the mum or dad, or you're raising the kids and you're telling them what they can and can't do, or whatever it is. Having tricky conversations is the first step to your growth, and I want you to embrace it and see it, that it's all about embracing and increasing and expanding your skills, your communication skills, your patience in that moment, reining in the ego so that it's not taking over, so that there's no drama, there's no arguments and stuff like that, because having tricky conversations can actually push you even further into experiencing, it can actually, so that you experience more drama, more BS, more anger, and things like that. But if you, okay, and I want you to know this, you're not alone. So if you feel that you need to have a tricky conversation with someone, get support, get someone else with you in that moment if you don't feel safe, especially obviously, in order to make sure that you are okay. All right, so having tricky conversations with family members or anything like that, because you may be black sheep of the family, you may be, just swooping in, and you kind of delete and block a lot of family members because of their actions, but they don't take accountability. Maybe you can relate to that as well, and you're like, I know a few people. But having those tricky conversations, as long as you remain calm, you don't go off on one and start screaming and shouting and all of this stuff. You remain kind of monotone in your voice, and you're like, isn't that interesting? Like Jim Rohn used to say, isn't that interesting? So what I want you to do is really think about, do you need to have any conversations with anyone that you feel is going to feel icky, it's going to feel funky, it's going to be a little bit tricky and you don't know what to say or how to start it or whatever, then really, really think about what the end game is and then kind of come backwards from there. Okay, so what you need to do is work on what the end result is, whether it's a pay rise, whether you want to split up with someone, whether you want to set boundaries, you want to be firm in those. Really see and hold the end game in your vision, in your mind's eye, and then work backwards from that, okay, into, right, okay, so this is how I'm going to move forward with this conversation. I need to be mindful and respectful. And once you say words or have a conversation, you can't change it, you can't take it back. So you've got to be mindful in all of that. But that is definitely something I would recommend thinking about before you actually have the conversation itself and go forward, because it will make you feel much more confident because you've got the stuff there either written down in notes or anything like that. Does that make sense? So it is all about knowing, believing and trusting in yourself, doing a little bit of work before, but also reining in the ego, identifying what triggers, if what they could say could trigger you, knowing that you're not going to react. You're just going to sit there and you're just going to go, right, okay, because it's all about, sometimes it's all about a power play and you need to stay in control and in the power and stay focused on what you want, okay, and then going from there. So you can always reach out to me, DM me on Rebecca Adams 187 on Instagram, and then we can actually go from there. I help people have tricky conversations and help people to really move forward with having great conversations in order to word things mindfully. And I'm very savvy in the respect that I can be are you ready? So I can tell someone to basically F off without saying it and they wouldn't even know. So that's I don't do that obviously all the time. It's just very rare, but it's a very savvy way of doing it. So that also, and it's making me smile. But yeah, that too. But in the meantime, if you want to rein in the ego, if you want to supercharge your brain and finances, if you want to clear any blocks and have a better relationship with money, better relationship with yourself and with your family members, your clients, customers, audience, and you really want to heal from everything in order to be bold and leap in this year and beyond everything, please come and join my signature program, Expansion. It's a beautiful, amazing project. I absolutely love it. It's all about mindset work. It really is absolutely incredible and one of the best things I've created, and I create a lot, and it's one of the best things I've created over the years in order for you to transform and transition into your soul gifts, to really, really replace all the icky feelings so that you can have the tricky conversations but come from a place of, authority and power and still be mindful, respectful and all of that goodness. Expansion is the one tool that you need in your back pocket, and you've got me on tap in the whole program, and it really is incredible. So please go to RebeccaAdamsBiz.com. I'll put the link in the show notes anyway, but go to RebeccaAdamsBiz.com, click on programs and courses. Everything is in there. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and I can't wait for you to join us. In the meantime, remember who you are, whose you are, keep your crown on your head, as Derek Jackson always says, and have an amazing day. Keep going always.